little bit new setup. I got a new microphone, got some lighting, so I'm excited to test this out. Today I thought I would talk about is honesty. And it's something I've been experiencing the last couple of weeks quite strongly, especially around friends, as I've had a couple friendships change, and I've also had a fair amount of people who maybe have been like some people who maybe have been asking to hang out with me that I maybe feel a little less resonant with. And something I've been learning is that can I be fully honest with people? And that when something feels like a burden, that's not my ego judging another person, which is a part of me that it's something I just realized like a couple days ago. And I've heard that teaching before, but it didn't quite soak all the way in. That the part of me that feels like if someone asks me to hang out and it feels like a burden, that's my intuition saying, you are going to feel burdened after spending time with this person. This person will, this hang session will drain you more than it will light you up. And the feeling of it being a burden is your intuition letting you know what that most likely, maybe it's not 100% true, but most of the time it's letting you know what that experience will be like in the future if you choose to spend time with this person. And oftentimes we're afraid to we feel like we need to be everything to every person, or we're afraid that if I tell this person I don't want to hang out with them, I'm going to hurt their feelings. And I want to be someone that cares for people, not hurts them. So I can never tell anyone that I don't want to hang out with them. But really, we're just avoiding greater honesty that would redirect. If we tell people no, it redirects them to people that are going to be more resonant and interested in them, and redirects us into people that are going to be more resonant and interested in us. And can we be willing to tell people when it feels like a burden, either, hey, I don't have a lot of time this month and I still want to be friends, but I need like a month or two to get some things in order to then make time for you. Or, hey, I don't feel as resonant in this friendship anymore as I once did. Oh, and I don't really feel resonant hanging out anymore. I would like to move more into acquaintancehood, and it doesn't have to be weird if we run into each other. I still love and care about you, but I'm just not feeling excited about hanging out with you as I once did. Or even we could say something I've changed, I think, and I think I've changed, and my feelings have changed about being friends. And while I still love and care about you, I would like to take a break from being friends or just not be friends. And we can still say hi when we run into each other, but um, I'm not feeling, it's starting to feel more like a burden to hang out with you than it is exciting for me. And I just want to be as real as honest with you as possible so you can form a relationship with the real me and not a me playing pretend. And when we find that level of honesty within us, we also find the greatest freedom just to be ourselves, because we never hurt people I'd say you can hurt people if you're brutally honest. Like you say, hey, like you drain me, you don't make good choices in your life, and you are like, this is all like, that's honesty, but coming from blame. Or like, you are constantly complaining and negative, and it makes me feel like shit, and I never want to see you again. Like, that's honesty, but it's a little bit coming from also our unprocessed pain of like, if we're going to be honest, if we're going to say something that's maybe a little bit of dramatic change for another person, can we do it kindly? Can we do it respectfully and say, if I was the one receiving this boundary, how would I like to receive it? Because sharp boundaries oftentimes bring up wounds in other people that then they respond more from a wounded place rather than wholeness. And if we can set boundaries kindly and respectfully, People will have a tendency to be a little bit more respectful in their responses because like attracts like. And when we are respectful, people have more of an opportunity to meet us there. And if we set a boundary and someone starts to, it doesn't, if we set a boundary and we do it kindly and someone starts hurling insults at us, blaming us, saying we're awful, we're evil, and it feels like they're projecting pain onto us, and we go, where is this coming from? It's coming from their pain, and it actually has nothing to do with you being honest. It's just them going, you're not meeting my control, you're not being controllable how I like people to be controllable in my life, and so I'm going to project insults at you as a way of making you feel worse, and hopefully you will then listen to what I would like you to actually do, which is maybe still be my friend, still be my partner. And it's crazy because pain is never rational. A great way to tell if I'm making choices or speaking from pain is this rational? And am I saying it from a kind, respectful, rational place? Or am I saying it from an edgy, aggressive, irrational place? Where instead of treating people like a friend who's receiving some news that might be a little hard for them to digest, we're treating people like they're our enemies. And seeing someone as an enemy is always a distorted perspective because we're all human beings. And while some people we might get along with less than others, they don't need to be our enemies. They just might be people we don't enjoy seeing or people we dislike. It's okay to dislike people. They're still humans. Can we send them love from afar rather than saying they're our enemy? And like something I do, if someone does something that rubs me the wrong way, I pray for their healing. And every time how they acted, if it comes back up in my mind, I just repeat out as I'm walking, as I'm riding the train, as I'm making my way through my day, sitting on my bed or couch or whatever, I just go, angels, please heal this person. And I just repeat that until the thoughts I have that are judgmental towards this person start to soften. And usually when we're overthinking, over planning, judging, feeling a lot of anger and hatred, it's a good sign that we need to find some form of creative outlet because that's showing us that that pain's coming up from this experience is still kind of trapped in our body, and it's being expressed through aggressive thoughts, aggressive over planning, aggressive judgments towards another person. And if we can find time to create art, even if it's not around, even like if we feel really angry and we just draw flowers, like the act of drawing flowers will make you feel better. But if you drawed angry flowers or did angry dance moves or sang angry songs or sang songs about like someone, like there's a song that I sometimes sing and the song's literally called Angry Man. And I'll sing it when I feel angry and I'll sing it like twice and I'll feel better. and and it's our expression of our pain that keeps us from projecting pain out on others, because when people project, it's usually when they've had a buildup of unexpressing their feelings, and so then their feelings just explode on the first person that pops the balloon, on the first person that does something different than how they would like. And so if someone's projecting or throwing insults at you, someone not meant to be in your life. If someone maybe, and this is something I've done, so send some love to Luke. But if someone, Luke, like maybe over texts you, like, and is kind and respectful, and is asking why you're setting a boundary, that's usually an invitation for a deeper conversation of, if someone's asking why, if someone's asking for clarity, they're saying, I will have an easier time holding this boundary with you. I'll have an easier time digesting this news if you can help me not beat myself up for why I'm wrong, for why I'm not good enough, for telling me the reason why things are changing. And if it's and we all don't we are not obligated to have conversations of clarity with people, but usually that typically is the most most healing and will bring the greatest resolution to both hearts if someone asks why or asks for clarity, if we can give it to them. And if we've given it to them already and they keep on asking why or keep on wanting to have conversations about it, that's saying that I a person is saying that when you have a conversation with me, then I get to re-experience the friendship that now is no longer in my life, and it helps me avoid my grief for a second. And I keep on asking for why or for clarity, even though you've already told me, because it's helping me avoid the change and loss I don't want to fully face. Because if we can keep on having conversations about it, that means you haven't fully left my life yet. And so if we've had a conversation with the person, if we've been clear, we've told them why, and when they've asked follow-up questions, we've answered them, and we feel, and they ask for like a third or a fourth conversation, like I'd say if we're a kind person, we could maybe give them like 1 to 2. If they ask for 3 or 4, it's time to move on. Say, sorry, I've already been clear and honest with you. There's nothing more left for me to explain. I wish you well. Honesty, honesty, protective of your time. And we all have the right to be discerning. And in friendships, there's going to be some people where we go, sometimes they're really lovely to spend time with, not someone I want to spend time with every day. But every now and then I really enjoy seeing this person, and they embody qualities as an artist, as a spiritual person, as whatever they're into, that I really, or as someone who's just naturally joyous or makes really funny jokes, and I just enjoy spending time with them. But maybe they're still working through some patterns. They're maybe going through some negativity every now and then, and it's not someone who I feel like a hell yes every day, but every like 2 weeks, it's definitely I like seeing them. And for friends, see, there will be people in your life where you go, I like seeing you sometimes, and I really enjoy seeing you when I see you those sometimes, and I'll spend time with you on those sometimes, and those sometimes still light me up and excite me. And there will be people who are friends who feel like a burden, who we feel like we don't want to really hang out with one-on-one. And can we honor that? And can we be discerning of, there's in friendship, there's going to be people that are absolute no. There's going to be people who are going to feel more resonant to have, if we're healers, have as clients rather than as friends. And can we tell those people, hey, I have healing sessions. If you want to be in my life, you can book a session with me, but I'm not feeling super resonant to be friends. And just be honest with people. People aren't hurt by honesty. People are hurt by dishonesty. When you are playing pretend and hiding people from what you feel like is your truth, that's when people go, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I just wasted my time building a relationship that you already knew was over. And that is hurtful. Being honest, if we are direct with people, kind and respectful, is actually what helps people know, hey, I see your time is valuable. I don't want you to be spending time with someone who isn't fully in this with you. So I'm going to tell you no, that I don't really want to hang out, as a way of redirecting you to people who are going to be more resonant with you. And it's going to do the same for me because I value your time that much. That's real honesty. And real honesty is adding greater value to your free time. It's adding greater freedom to be your authentic self, and it's healing any people pleasing, because people pleasing is hiding from the truth. And the moment you start to be fully honest is the moment your people pleasing tendencies start to slowly, very slowly, because healing usually happens pretty slowly, starts to disappear. You start noticing I do them a little less. And it's because you found time to be great, it's because you found a desire to be more honest in your relationships. And if we're dating someone and we feel like they're not the one, can we tell them that? Can we make them aware of that truth? Because we go, oh, I don't want to tell them that. Then they might leave me. They might, but it would just direct you. You might have to spend a little bit of time alone, but it would direct you quicker to the person who's going to be your one and direct them quicker to the person that's going to be their one. Or even if we're still into dating and casual dating, just being honest of, hey, I don't think you're the one, but I would still like to date you casually. That's healing. That would heal your people pleasing tendencies. And while I don't fully believe in casual dating as the highest or most integral or aligned path, if you're someone who wants to continue to explore that, can you explore that and be fully honest with people so that they at least know what they're getting? And if they agree to it and you agree to it, that's a relationship that is more grounded in healthiness typically than unhealthiness, because you're both being fully honest with each other and you both know what the relationship will be. And when people know what the relationship will be or where you both stand, that's when people are hurt the least. And it's something I want to kind of transition to was in dating. And it's something I've talked about the last couple of videos, but I think it deserves like a good talk. Just because I would say this is going to be a hot take that you don't need to date people. You don't. That dating people is, I date people because I am trying to find someone so I don't have to be alone. I'm trying to find someone so they can show me the love I'm not showing myself. I'm trying to find someone because I'm craving greater community, and I think a partner will give me that community. And I would say, what if you just prioritize building community rather than prioritize searching for a partner? Because searching and seeking a partner just leads to greater searching and seeking. And if you rested in, can I form the deepest relationship with myself? If you rested in, what if every person I'm attracted to, like 90, like let's say we want the one or we want a soulmate, every person I'm attracted to then becomes a friend. It becomes a friend. And if it's meant to be something more than friends, I will know. I will know the moment I meet them if I'm in that level of honesty and integrity with myself. And we get there by one, being honest in our relationships, and two, healing the part of us that is constantly trying to rush into relationships and hiding from ourselves. Integrity of, I'm not going to create greater heartbreak on this planet if I don't need to. And can I prioritize connection rather than prioritize stimulation? Because our ego, our parts of ourselves grounded in negativity and toxicity, love the stimulation of going on dates with people, love the stimulation of having sex with people, but it's feeding patterns of stimulation most of the time. And it doesn't mean we can't date people, and it doesn't mean we can't explore that if we feel like we need to explore that. But I've been thinking, I've been thinking about this quote a lot lately, and it's a Finding Nemo quote, and it's fish are friends, not food. And can we relate to people that we're attracted to as friends rather than food for our patterns, rather than food for our inner sex demons, rather than food for the patterns that think, I'm going to find wholeness in a relationship? You are going to find wholeness by being alone, and aloneness leads to wholeness. And it doesn't mean you can't put yourself out there. It doesn't mean you can't get to know people. And it doesn't mean you can't desire a partner. But what you'll find is as I allow myself to get to know people as friends rather than constantly trying to date them or trying to date every person I'm attracted to or constantly thinking, is this my partner? Could this be the one? There's a reason why they call it the one. They call it the one because the one is you. One, not two. If you're looking for the one, you are looking for yourself. And if you form the deepest relationship with yourself, is actually what would attract another who's also done the same. If we're searching for a soulmate, if we're just searching for someone who, if we're just searching for a partner, who we go, you just have to be okay, or you just have to be, you can be, Luke, like, I'm not searching for all I could have in this life. I would just like a person. And if someone's pretty close, that's close enough for me, right? Then you don't have to abide by this. But if you're like, I would like a soulmate, I would like the deepest loving relationship I could have. And if that isn't in my life right now, I'm going to take it as an invitation to form the deepest loving relationship with myself while still getting to know people, putting myself out there. If someone's attracted, I can still attractive. Can I spend time with them? Can I see but when I spend time with them, can I look just as much as why they might be a no as why they might be a yes? I would say even look at more of the no. Like for me, like examples of things that typically weed people out. I'm into spirituality deeply. I pray for hours a day, pretty much, walking to the grocery store, riding the train, doing angel visualizations. I've listened to spiritual talks for years. It's a big part of my life. Someone's not at that caliber of spirituality, if someone's not someone who I could teach with and who would actually help further my mission of spreading greater consciousness to other people, it's a no. Because I'm not looking for any person. I'm not looking for someone who's pretty close. I'm looking for a partner that would be able to walk with me through the rest of my life, helping me deepen my legacy of love on this planet. And my legacy of love is in spirituality. It's sharing spiritual truths. It's helping people find greater empowerment. It's helping people see their patterns for what they are. And I want someone to deepen that because I want a partner that helps me deepen that because that is what I'm devoted to. I am most devoted to leaving an impact on this planet where people are more conscious, more aware, more empowered than when I was born. And that's why I make YouTube videos. And if someone isn't really into spirituality or kind of dabbles in it, it's an instant, not the one. If someone, like I'm someone who really values being alone because I recognize the gift of self-love it is. And I recognize that the aloneness I've cultivated is also the greatest depth and intimacy I've found in myself. And if someone has dated a bunch of people, not that there's anything wrong with that, it's a no for me because I have not had that same experience, and we will not necessarily understand each other because we lived our life differently for a couple years. I'm also vegan. I really value being vegan. And it's something I've been thinking about, maybe being a little bit more vegetarian, eating out, because sometimes the vegan option isn't always the best. Like this weekend, I had like peppers stuffed with just rice and sauce, and I was like, I don't really feel like there's that much nutritional value in this. So eating out, maybe more vegetarian. But do I want to cook meat for someone else? Absolutely not. Someone's not vegan, if someone's not sober, not someone that I met today. And can we look at the people we're getting to know and say, are these people lining up with the things that I value? Is this someone who I feel just as comfortable with and at ease with when I spend time with? as I do like wanting to rip off their clothes and feeling passionate for them as a partner? Or is it someone I feel more comfortable with, but not really passionate towards? Or is it someone I feel really passionate towards and not really comfortable with? And if someone is a smoker or a drinker and I don't drink and smoke, probably not your partner. And when you're thinking about dating people, the people you have sex with, the people you date are the people you become the most like. And go, is this someone who lights me up and excites me and goes, hell yeah, I want to be more like you? Or is it someone who you go, they're awesome, I feel deep love with, but not everything in their life is patterns that I would love. They're still playing out patterns that aren't fully resonant with how I live my life. And it doesn't mean they're a worse person. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means they're not fully resonant and they would be better as friends than they would a partner. And oftentimes it's the building of community that actually is what helps you develop the practice that then prepares you for your soulmate, for your partner. And the willing to let go of the people that I was going to talk about this and I changed it earlier in the talk, but the people that I'm really attractive to, when I get to know them, I'll find that my fantasies if I get to know them as a friend, I will find my fantasies and ideas of a partner get amplified. And when they get amplified, it's really them getting burned out of me because I'm now aligning myself with a higher level of integrity that no longer is holding on to these fantasies anymore because I'm no longer trying to date the people that I'm super attracted to. I'm more interested in forming connection with people and finding community with people and being a safe person to connect with people. And these fantasies are no longer serving me like they once did. And what we'll find is if we are willing to value forming friends over dating people, the ideas and fantasies we have of a partner instantly start to vanish. And this is something I learned a couple months ago, just like as a short share. Like there was a person who I found very attractive, very physically attractive, but they were like weren't the most sober person. And spending time with them, I could see they were a little bit more addicted to complication than I was. Like having complicated relationships, being interested in drama a little bit more than I was. And I knew it wasn't someone I was fully resonant with to date. But was physically attractive to. And they ended up getting a different partner. They ended up dating someone else. And I felt all the desires of like, what if we had dated? What if we had sex? Like all these desires coming up when I found they had a partner. And it was the fantasies I had about being with people. It was the fantasies I had about if I had been physically intimate with this person, if I had dated this person, then I would be able to feed these fantasies, feed these fantasies that are so desperate to find greater love, so desperate to put their power in another person. And I said, I'm no longer willing to do that. I'm just willing to get to know people as friends. And the fantasies came up and they were intense for a day or two. And I started to feel more and more settled in being alone. And when we can settle in being alone, we can really settle in deep love with another. And you're gonna pass up some people who might be quite hot, who might have great bodies, or you might feel quite resonant, you might feel some resonance with, and they don't feel that, but they don't feel fully right. And the fantasies and ideas that get pulled up by just getting to know them as friends or watching them go date another person are the fantasies and ideas that are getting healed out of you that would have pushed you into a relationship that would have been out of balance, that wouldn't have worked, that would have led into heartbreak rather than led into greater wholeness for yourself. And sure, we can grow in relationships, but oftentimes our ego integrates back into our soul slower in relationships than it does when we are alone. Because the mundane and the boring is actually one of the fastest ways to heal, and our ego hates that. And that's how you know it's the truth. And there's times in our life when we're meant to, like when we're in when we're in their teenage years, when we're in our 20s, we're meant to explore relationships. There's nothing wrong with exploring relationships. I'm just here to share. If you valued your community, if you value building community and building friendships more, one, you'd have more community, and you crave a partner less, because when you're craving a partner, you're really just craving community. And you'd also would be aligned in greater integrity, which integrity is I'm not forming overly strong attachments with people I know aren't going to work. I'm not creating the potential for heartbreak for other people when I know they're not going to be the one. And I'm actually sharpening my knife of honesty and discernment within myself that says I'm not going to give my power away to another person. I'm going to value connection over value, playing pretend, people pleasing, and moving into relationships just so that I don't have to be by myself anymore. And there's nothing wrong with whatever we've explored, whatever we're still exploring, whether we doubt this or know it as whether we think this is true or continue to doubt it. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have the right to explore patterns as much as we want, but if we can relate to people as they are friends, not food, not people for me to date, not people for me to have sex with, because if you're looking for a soulmate, your soulmate is one person, it isn't 20 people. And if you find yourself being instantly wanting to date 20 people, that might be a pattern. That might not be what actually is in the greatest alignment for you. And as we find ourselves in greater aloneness, all you'll find is deeper love for yourself, deeper connection with yourself, and is that connection that will attract your soulmate. And it might mean you're alone for 4, 5, 6, 10 years. You might not even ever manifest a partner. And can we rest in the truth of I may never find a partner, so why don't I learn how to love myself, rather than looking for a partner thinking that person will be able to love, like show me the love I'm not showing me, because whatever person we attract is going to meet you in the same level of love and fantasies you still have within you. And so if you're trying to find a partner without fully facing being alone, without fully facing that you may never find a partner, all you are going to find is a person who's in that same level of patterns, or depending on how much you settle and compromise for people, could just be a person who's even at a lower level than you are, if you're not willing to be discerning and honest of this isn't the right person. I don't feel like a hell yes with this person. When I met them, they just felt like another person, and they might have an attractive body, but that doesn't mean they're the right person for me, because there is lots of people on the planet who have attractive faces or attractive bodies, and that really doesn't mean a thing when it comes to who's actually going to be in the most alignment for you to spend the rest of your life with. And when I value community, I inform relationships over searching for the next person to date. I actually find the greatest freedom from my inner sex demons, from the parts of me that are willing to value chasing love rather than finding love in myself. And as I value finding love in myself, I remember greater wholeness by my willingness to be alone, that actually attracts a person who's able to meet me how I'm meeting me. So I hope that helps. Thank you for listening. I'm grateful for your attention. I love you all. And there's no shame there's no guilt, whatever we explore. This life is about making mistakes, and the more mistakes we make is often when we find our way out of the patterns quicker. So thank you. Love you.